recording, because we're smart around here. We don't forget to do silly things like that and then waste a whole take with no audio. Who would do such a thing? So lately in my songwriting and videos and other things, I've been using a lot more synthesizer tones to add some different kinds of context and space to my songs. I think synths allowed you to get really specific with tones that you want to hear and find like really articulate ways of injecting melodies or kind of chordal themes into other parts. So far, I've only used software synths like the Arturia Analog Lab 3 and also Alchemy, like I mentioned. Or did I mention it? Anyway, yeah, I've been using Alchemy. Working with software isn't as natural to me or as intuitive or fun as working with a physical piece of gear though, like an actual instrument or a real amplifier. I wanted to bring a more tactile experience to my synthesizing and tone crafting, so I decided to pick up the KORG MINILOGUE XD, which is a 4-voice polyphonic analog synthesizer from KORG. This synth sounds absolutely amazing for all the like analog, thick kind of tones you might associate with that, specifically like 80s style, like or other Blade Runner type of things, you know, might come to mind. But that's not all this synth can do. There's a lot of different options to get creative with it. You've got 2 analog oscillators with a ring modulation option. You can cross modulate them. There's a 3rd digital oscillator where you can add noise or custom waveforms and all sorts of different things to really just pull out lots of cool tones. There are also some really nice onboard digital effects like reverb and delay. And there's a lot of different options with those you can choose from to customize with. The LFOs are very intuitive to use and set up, and I find the filter and the overdrive function to be really, really nice. So yeah, today I just wanted to go through it, make some tones, play some melodies, you know, just kind of see what we can do with the instrument and have some fun with it. This won't really be a demo video because there are far higher quality demo videos out there than anything I could show you, but we'll go through it, have some fun with it, just play around, see what we can get. Let's do it. So let's go through a few patches. Let's just start with the patch you get when you just open it up. Very, very rich. I like that tone. Nice and retro. So this is the first preset I made when I picked this thing up. I turned the LFO on with the pitch. Oh man, didn't expect that one. Well, yeah, let's do some LFO, some of the LFO. Okay, let's take that sound. Let's try to make something like percussive with it. So we'll do. I wish you guys could see what I'm doing right now. I tried to hang my camera from or my phone camera from a little clip here, but did not work like I wanted it to work. So we're stuck with this. So let's take this like pad sort of sound. Back to the preset. Nice and rich. I like that. I like the way the kind of triangle sits in there. Let's go to a cutoff for the LFO. Make it pretty fast and very cool. Let's add some delay. Yeah. How about a tape delay. Yeah, there we go. That's a little too much feedback. I like the time though. So. Very cool. See what it sounds like if we like bring the cutoff up. That's really cool. Love the way that filter sounds. Very, very nice and rich. And the delay adds a lot too. Let's do something similar like that. Add like a little little filter or an envelope on the cutoff. Add some reverb. Plate. Let's see what we've got there. No, I think I want got a hall. Something like that. Horror. What is that? A horror reverb. Okay, I gotta check this one out now. That sounds cool. Spooky chord. That's pretty cool. Lots of like trails with it and stuff. Let's see what other modes we got. Hall. There we go. Of course, right next to horror. Well, you'd think Hall would be first if they're alphabetical, but I guess they're not. Anyway, so cutoff. Make a little dip in the frequency, like. That's really cool. Let's do something more melodic. Let's see some other presets I've made here. Oh, that one kind of reminds me of like it's a sound from one of the Pokemon Game Boy games. It's like super noisy almost. Let's add a little bit more noise to that and see what that sounds like. That's pretty cool. Let's overdrive it. Yeah, you hear the little like dirt that adds to it. That's super cool. Maybe a little resonance. So if you're not familiar with the concept of resonance on a synth, basically wherever you set the cutoff frequency, it'll set a filter above that so you can kind of gradually bring sounds in like, and just control how much high frequency content they have, and the resonance kind of sets a peak at that cutoff frequency, so you can like excite frequencies right at the cutoff to get some weird effects. I think this will sound cool if we drive the resonance a bit. Maybe that's a little too much. Ooh, that's interesting. Almost sounds like a person talking behind it over like a really old telephone or something. That's pretty cool. So yeah, let's go something. That's the same one. I like that one a lot. I like how it's kind of subdued, but it still has like a nice harmonic attack. Pretty cool. I just made all of these presets kind of when I was learning the instrument at first, just having some fun making different sounds. Let's try to just make one from scratch right now, see where we get. So when you just start with a bass patch on the XD, you get just like, I think it's just a couple of saw waves, just one single saw wave. So you can tune from there and just gonna mix and match stuff. So let's make something kind of gritty and distorted, shall we? So okay, yeah, we'll turn off. So this synth has two analog oscillators and a digital oscillator. We'll just keep one oscillator on right now at about 3/4 volume as like our main sound, right? And then we'll blend in some other sounds with it. So let's keep the sawtooth kind of deal. That was pretty cool. You can get a nice kind of distorted, almost a guitar sort of vibe with a sawtooth wave. Yeah, so let's just tune it from there. So that was the shape control. You kind of adjust how many notches are in the saw, I guess, and you can spread them out. I like it just straight up. Yeah, Yeah, let's just keep it like that. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, nice and gritty. Yeah, let's go for an overdriven sort of deal. And bring the master down. Oh, that would be cool. Something kind of pulsy like that. Anyway, let's make our waveform. Okay, let's add, okay, so that we got our grit there. Let's do a different wave shape. Let's maybe do a square. This, the bass just square tone kind of reminds me of like a robot help, like do do do. Hello, human. How may I help you today? Oh, that's okay. Anyway, something like that. Robot noises, all that fun stuff. So yeah, let's do something square. Check out the shape. Basically, with the shape control of the square, you kind of control the width of the square, and it almost becomes more like a really small triangle the smaller you make it. Let's do something kind of in the middle there. Keep the pitch the same. Let's blend that in maybe octave lower. Wait, what happened to our... 50% overdrive, not 100%. Okay, there's our saw. Yep. Let's cross modulate them a little bit. So on the Minilogue, you can use the first oscillator to modulate the pitch of the second one. So there's just a depth control for that, and if you set it at 0, there's no modulation between the two oscillators, and as you bring it up, you can hear the pitch start to shift based on the pitch of the first one. Like the rate of the modulation will be determined by the pitch of VCO1. Anyway, that's too nerdy. Here's what it sounds like. I think it's a pretty cool effect at a low depth. Kind of adds like a washiness almost to something you're playing. I think it can add another layer of interest to melodies too. So let's do something like that. Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So there's a third oscillator on this, which is a digital oscillator, and digital waveforms are kind of more free in what forms they can assume because they're not limited by analog outputs and circuitry, I guess. So let's add a little bit of, I can't remember what this is, VP. Anyway, it's another type of oscillator. There's sine waves. Nice and like, kind of adds just a, it's almost like the digital oscillator kind of envelopes the other two and adds an overall pattern to it, like the sine wave right there. Another saw wave. I kind of like that first sine wave. Let's just keep that. That was cool. So blend in a little bit of it. Cool. Let's do something super verby. Add some reverb. Reverb on. Oh, we were just on Hall. That's the one I was going to do. Now I got to go. Okay, there we go. Sweet. That's pretty cool. Let's do a little LFO on the pitch. I think that will be pretty fun. So. That's about the depth I want, about that speed. Okay, here we go. Cool. Let's do something a little bit different. So that was just a tone we made from scratch. It's pretty easy to just pull something out. Let's see what other presets I've got made here. Oh yeah. I think that's one of my favorite ways to use the Minilogue is for kind of airy, almost like Boards of Canada or Tycho sort of sounds, because I'm pretty influenced by those guys. But yeah, I really like the way that Minilogue lets you do all that stuff. There's just so many different ways you can use it, and the controls are super well laid out. Anyway, more tones. Ooh, I like that one. That one sounds sort of telephony. Pretty cool. So yeah, this one has another cool example of the digital oscillator going on. Let's take a look at it. So turn it up a little bit. So I'm using the digital oscillator, one of the air options here, which is almost like a noise option, but it doesn't fall into the noise category. But it adds like almost a sound of like actual air moving past your ear or something like that. Let's just turn it way up so you can hear what I'm talking about. Let's check out some other presets I've made. Goodness. Always mess up something like that. I like the tones though. That one's not as telephony as the other one, more of a full, almost overdriven sort of tone. So the overdrive on this unit, it overdrives your signal before it hits the filter. So I'm not a synthesis expert, but I kind of know the signal path stuff, and it's almost like boosting a guitar, you know, kind of before it hits the filter of your guitar's EQ set or your amp's EQ section. Similar concept, very loosely. I'm not an expert. Don't quote me. Anyway. Yeah, tones. Some of these are variants of each other, and I just had to save them for specific purposes. I don't even remember what I made this one for. We got program 496. Oh. We can go Lydian. Why not? I like that one. That was pretty fun. Some cool melodies there. Oh, this is a sequence one. Yeah, let's do some other chord progressions. Maybe a different key this time. Mix it up a bit. Oh yeah, just goes up, I think. I missed the timing there. The sequencer is really cool though. That's one of the voice modes on this synth. There's an arpeggiator mode, and there's some different like sequences you can add to it. I believe you can add some custom sequences as well to add your own like 4 or 5 note little things you can use with chords, like to play chords in a sequence like that, and it'll just follow the order you lay them down in. Like, just repeat that arpeggio. You can also latch it, like, here we go. No hands. That's pretty handy, and you can do other fun stuff. Again, gotta make sure you actually hit the keys for the sequencer to do what you need. But yeah, I like the sound, and it lets you free up your hands to, you know, make dynamic choices and add to the song that way with your other hands on the controls. Pretty cool way to do it. So yeah, we've gone through a bunch of different sounds here. I really enjoy playing this instrument. There's just so many fun ways to interact with it, and it's just very well made. I'm not a synth expert by any means, but I think this instrument is very well geared for someone who has never really, maybe not never, but someone who doesn't need to be a complete wizard with synthesis to make really inspiring sounds with this instrument. It's really fun to use. There's a lot of different possibilities. If you're on the fence about picking up a synthesizer, or you're looking for a synth that won't break the bank, that can kind of let you get into it, then I would suggest looking no further than the XD. I think that I don't know what else could be with this that would make it more fun or intuitive to use. And it just sounds great. Pairs really well with guitar pedals too. If you just run it through a 1/4 inch out, comes with MIDI input, MIDI through. You can even use external CV if you have a modular rig and you want to add something like this to it. I'm not into the world of modular yet, but maybe one day. But yeah, if you want to do something like that, it has 2 CV ins where you can map external controls to automate parameters of the XD to get crazy with your setup. So yeah, if you guys are using any other synths out there, if you got questions about the XD, let me know in a comment. I'd love to talk about it. And what other stuff are you guys using? I use Alchemy as well as the XD and a few things from Arturia Analog Lab. I love all of those, but I mean, the XD is quickly becoming my favorite. I just like the way I can sit down and know exactly what I need to do to make a sound I'm trying to hear and not have to click through a bunch of menus and find presets, and that just kills me. Like that whole process is just it's tough for me to get ideas working that way. I find this to be a lot more fun. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.